Now guys, we will talk about the surface transportation. The growth of the tourism sector, which is spread across several destinations, is directly related to the use of affordable transportation technology, which is a result in a change in tourism consumption from the upper middle class to the mass tourism. In the 19th century, trains with low ticket prices had shifted their function from the official transportation to the transportation used for holidays, based on the theory of Page. This is in line with the theory of Brooke and Horner that when consumer demands goods or services and they are mass-produced, the price of these goods or services will be cheaper. This is the initial of inefficient surface transportation, which is to transport a limited number of passengers into a convenient means of transportation can carry a large number of passengers. Surface transportation is the movement of people or goods by using of transportation on the roads such as buses, trucks, or taxis, and can be transfer, ships, and speedboat. The aircraft is not include the surface transportation. Why? Because it is not in the surface, it's on the air. Currently, in big cities are promoting a mass transit system, which is a transportation designed to be able to carry a large number of passengers in many metropolitan cities. Examples of mass transit systems are monorails, subways, elevated trains, elevated bus rapid transit, and ferries. Mass transportation then refers to a public transportation that transports from downtown to the suburbs. Usually, this mass transit is used by people who live in the suburbs and work in the city center. The transportation used is usually trams, trains, buses, and even ferries. The type of mass transit that is currently developing in developed countries is rapid transit. This term refers to a fast-moving passenger transportation system in urban areas with large passenger capacity and frequent departure frequency and regularly, either above or below the road surface to avoid congestion, or we can say that to avoid the traffic jam. Some examples of track or roads from rapid transit include underground subway, elevated railway, metropolitan railway, and now Indonesia has MRT and LRT. Transportation used in traveling is one of the most motivation for tourists to travel. Some tourists are more eager to travel by using transportation in the form of luxury buses or cruise. Other components such as tourist destination, accommodation, and food become the next motivation, because we will not be able to reach a tourist destination without a presence of a mode of transportation. And according to Page, managing a large number of tourists requires special manager skills, especially in the logistic and transportation aspect. So we can conclude that the convenience on the time and efficiency of transportation are very influential on the success of transportation, and in this case, the success of the tourism transportation.
Hello everyone, my name is Miranti and now I will talk about lane-based transportation. What do you know about lane-based transportation? Maybe in your mind it's about car, train, bus, and many more. Yeah, that's right. Next questions. It is a little bit hard. Why transportation can be related to tourism? Let's discuss these questions together. The transport industry has gained a vital place in the global network system and is the one of the most important components of the tourism infrastructure. It now becomes easier for people to travel from one place to another place because of the various modes of transportation available. Transportation is vital to tourism. Studies have shown that tourists spend almost 30 to 40% of their total holiday expenditure on transportation and the remaining on food, accommodation, and other activities. This aspect once again highlights the importance of transportation. There is many various modes of transport, but we will focus on 4 points. First, car and tourist travel. Second, sailing. Third, coach and bus travel. And fourth, rail travel. So let's move to the first point. First, car and tourist travel. Today, the most popular and widely used mode of road travel is the automobile or the car. Road transport is dominated by the automobile, which provides views of the landscape and the freedom to travel. Tourists often travel with their entire family for holidays. One additional area that is worthy of discussion in terms of road transport is the car hire industry. This is neglected in many studies of tourism and transport, and yet it is a major driver of car-based activity. The car hire business can be divided into 3 distinct segments. First, airport rentals, which often command a 15% premium charge over and above other rentals due to the charge imposed by airport authorities. These are based on the principle that this is a captive market which is able to pay the price demanded. This may be the case for corporate travel, where such prices have been discounted on the basis of volume business and leisure travelers pay premium prices. Second, downtown rental location. And third, replacement vehicles for corporate and individuals whose cars are off the road being repaired or serviced. Second is sailing. Bicycles are used by tourists either occasionally by just visiting a destination, who may hire a cycle for a day or for long-distance cycling holidays undertaken by more determined. In a tourism context, Lumsden 1996 study simplifies the market segments involved in cycle tourism to include: first, holiday cyclists, comprising couples, families, or friends who seek a holiday where they can enjoy opportunities to cycle, but not necessarily every day. They seek traffic-free routes and are independent travelers who are not interested in a package holiday. Second, short break cyclists who seek to escape and select packages that will provide local knowledge with or without cycle hire and comfortable accommodation. Third, day excursionists. They are not prepared to travel long distance to visit attractions or facilities, but prefer to see quiet country lanes, which are signposted. Third, bus. Page 20 and 7 mention bus and coach travel assume a growing significance in the 1930s in most countries. There is a tendency to interchange the term bus and coach, which may create confusion and complexity. Bus travel usually refers to a specific form of urban and rural passenger transport which tourists may use at the destination they are staying at. European Conference of Ministers of Transport classified the international coach travel market in terms of 3 categories of service. First, scheduled service. Second, shuttle service. And third, occasional service. Last but not least is rail travel. The railways is the most economical, convenient, and popular mode of travel, especially for long-distance travel all over the world. With increasing congestion on many of the development countries' road and air networks, rail travel has a number of natural advantages over competing modes of transport. the convenience of rail travel for short to long distance trips from one city center to another remains. It is clear that rail travel, aside from commuting, offers a wide range of options for tourist and leisure travel. In Europe, rail continues to have a slow rate of overall growth compared to other modes of transport. At a pan-European level, rail travel is constantly outperformed by the increase in air and car-related travel of around 2 until 4% per annum in the volume of passenger kilometers traveled. It is clear that rail travel, aside from commuting, offers a wide range of options for tourist and leisure travel. In Europe, rail continues to have a slow rate of overall growth compared to other modes of transport. At pan-European level, rail travel is constantly outperformed by increase in air and car-related travel of around 2 until 4% per annum in the volume of passenger kilometers traveled.
Okay, my name is Kania, and now I will explain about water-based transport. Water-based travel was important before the development of rail and air travel. So, what are the kind of water-based transport? The first one is cruises. Transportation is not the prime purpose, as cruise ships operate mostly on routes that return passengers to their originating port. So, the ports of call are usually in a specified region of a continent. P&O is one of the shipping companies which developed water-based transport. In 1842, the P&O passenger ship Hindustan undertook its inaugural trip, stimulated by the company's contract to carry mail from Southampton to Calcutta. The following years were used for voyages to several places. Until 1994, adapting to the new business environment for the cruise line factories. This was the first time it had developed a dedicated cruise liner that carried 160 first-class passengers. So, until now, cruise ship is a passenger ship that is used specifically for recreational purposes. The passengers board the cruise ship usually to spend the time on the ship, which is equipped with lodging facilities and equipment like a star hotel. The second one is ferries. A ferry is a boat or a merchant ship used to carry primarily passengers and sometimes vehicles and cargo as well. Ferries are more functional modes of tourist transport than cruise ships and are used to cross stretches of water. Ferries form a part of the public transport systems of many waterside cities and islands, allowing direct transit between points at capital cost much lower than bridges or tunnels. The major blow for the ferry companies was the loss of duty-free sales on board ferries in 1999, which had accounted for 65% of profits from short-sea ferry routes. This gave an estimated loss of revenue of £350 million for UK European services and led to price rises on fares of up to 40%, which together with rises in fuel costs, resulted in a drop in passenger volume of between 16 and 20%. However, ferry companies see this as a temporary problem. And the last one is waterways. A waterway is any navigable body of water. Waterways can include rivers, lakes, seas, oceans, and canals. The inland waterways of the U.S. include over 25,000 miles of navigable waters such as Mississippi River system. Also, the Grand Canal is a canal in Venice, Italy, and many tourists explore the canal by gondola. Canals and waterways were developed in many European countries to transport products from such areas to market. Yet many towns and cities with waterways and river networks have seen a renaissance in their regeneration for tourism purposes in the late 20th century, with Birmingham, UK a case in point. BWB, or British Waterways Board, manages 3,220 kilometers of canals and rivers in the UK with a budget of almost £200 billion, part of which has been spent on reopening old canals for leisure and in creating a new focus for tourism, such as the Millennium Wheel in Falkirk, Scotland. In other contexts, such as the Norfolk Broads, a major holiday and boating industry exists which is based on inland waterways.
It has been more than 1 year since the first coronavirus case in Indonesia. The government is implementing several policies to prevent COVID-19 from spreading, including physical distancing and large-scale social distancing or PSBB. One of the business sectors directly affected by the government's policies is transportation. Players in the sector are losing revenue as travel is prohibited. Demand for passenger transportation in the sea transportation sector had decreased by around 50% to 70%. That is because the people are forbidden to travel. It relates to statement by Page in 2007, mentioned that the potential of water or sea-based transport has been greatly overlooked in most analyses of tourism, largely because much attention has been given to the growth in tourism by air since 1945.
In this pandemic era, although land and sea transportation is considered to be better than air transportation, the transportation sector is still maximized to support connectivity so that the economy can revive, especially through tourism. The Minister of Transportation has accelerated development, starting from the port in Labuan Bajo, increasing the number of docks and ships in Toba, as well as developing the connectivity of the Patimban port, which is the same size as Tanjung Priok and Kertajati Airport, as a supporter of Cirebon as a new tourism destination. During this pandemic era, various development acceleration were carried out to support economic improvement, until the time the transportation can be used again with their respective controls and regulation.
In controlling land transportation, namely limiting the number of passengers to 50% of the vehicle's total capacity, the MOT specifies that buses shall only transport passengers to places that are permitted under the applicable provisions of laws and regulations. In controlling rail transportation is to limit the number of passengers to 50% of the train's total number of seats. Physical distancing must be implemented in accordance with the seating configuration, and no standing passengers are allowed. In controlling water transportation is aimed that the passenger is limit the number to 50% of the ship's total capacity of seats or beds and implement physical distancing.